not touch you. Thousands of years ago, an Asura king named Hiranyakashipu attempted to do exactly that. Driven by a thirst for vengeance after the death of his brother, he set out to dismantle the cosmic order and replace it with his own. He spent many long years in a state of agonizing penance, standing completely still as the world shifted around him, until his sheer endurance forced the creator, Brahma, to appear. He didn't ask for simple strength. He asked for a set of protections that would make his death a logical impossibility. He eliminated every vulnerability. He could not be killed during day or night, nor inside or outside. He couldn't be killed by human, animal, or god, nor by any forged weapon. Finally, his death couldn't occur on earth or in the sky. Confident that he had outmaneuvered destiny, the king declared himself the only god. He scrubbed Vishnu's ning from the earth and demanded the universe bow to his will alone. Hiranyakashipu had turned the creator's own laws into a cage. By weaving these very specific constraints into the fabric of reality, he left the cosmos paralyzed by its own definitions, creating a puzzle with no apparent solution. However, the most rigid structures often contain a single internal point of failure. For Hiranyakashipu, that point was his own son, Prahlad. While still in the womb, the child was exposed to the teachings of the sage Narada. Prahlad grew up with an internal resonance that ignored his father's decrees, centered entirely on the very deity the king sought to destroy. When the king discovered this defiance, he was furious. He sent Prahlad to be taught by ruthless instructors, hoping to replace the boy's devotion with the cold logic of ego and brute force. But Prahlad's conviction was absolute. Every lesson in tyranny met with a prayer for the divine. Seeing his authority crumble within his own palace, the king ordered his son's execution. The results defied every law the king understood. Poison turned to nectar. Massive elephants refused to trample him. Pit vipers refused to bite, and fire incinerated the executioner instead. Every external rule Hiranyakashipu had bent to his will collapsed when faced with an internal reality he couldn't touch. He had mastered the physical world, but found himself powerless against a child who surrendered to something greater. Pushed to the brink of madness, Hiranyakashipu dragged Prahlad into the center of the royal court for one final public demonstration of his power. He mocked the idea of a god existing everywhere. Pointing to a massive pillar, he demanded to know if Vishnu was present inside the rock. When Prahlad answered yes, the furious king swung his heavy mace with all his might and struck the stone. The pillar didn't just break, it erupted. Out of the dust stepped Narasimha, a figure that embodied the very wrath of the universe. The universe struck back through the very gaps the king thought he had sealed. It was twilight, neither day nor night. Narasimha cornered the king on the threshold of the palace, a space that was neither inside nor outside. Narasimha was neither man nor beast nor a standard deity, but a terrifying fusion of all three. He carried no forged blades. He reached out with his own claws, which occupied no category of weapon. Finally, he pulled the king onto his lap, suspending him neither on the earth nor in the sky, and ended the tyrant's reign. Divine justice had not violated a single law of the universe. Instead, it used the king's own arrogant definitions to find the path to his destruction. The tyrant was gone, but the fury that killed him remained. Narasimha's primal force continued to shake the foundations of the palace, threatening to consume everything in its path. The gods watched from the heavens, paralyzed. Even Brahma and Indra, who understood the mechanics of the cosmos, found themselves unable to approach this raw manifestation of absolute justice. In the middle of this cosmic storm, the only one who moved was Prahlad. He possessed no weapons and no clever arguments, only an absence of fear. The boy walked toward the roaring beast and knelt. At the touch of Prahlad's hand, the rage vanished. The destroyer became a protector, his terrifying features softening as he blessed the child whose devotion had remained unshaken. Elaborate defenses built on logic and arrogance eventually buckle under their own weight. True cosmic stability lives in the quiet, invincible power of absolute surrender.